Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is the Caffeinated Crafter. I am Jen. My caffeine of choice for today is Dunkin' Donuts large, can't even fit it in there, large caramelized coffee with cream, no added sugar. That caramel is definitely sweet enough. It's been a few weeks since I have been on because of the kids. You know, I don't record when I got the boys, and I've been very busy this weekend. So this is the first chance I've had to sit down and do a video. Today is Sunday, the 6th, I think, of February. Wow, is it the 26th? No. I guess so. Yeah, maybe the 26th of February. Today's going to be a WIP and chat. So if you want to go ahead and take out whatever it is you are working on, diamond painting, cross stitching, crochet, woodworking, I don't know, whatever. What is it that y'all like to do when you're watching these things? You got them playing in the background. That's what I do when I'm diamond painting, or even cross stitching sometimes. I like to just like put on some of the WIP and chats and just have them running in the background. Sometimes I'll do the live streams of my favorite YouTubers, but the only downside of that is, you know, they can't read every single comment that's going on. So sometimes they'll be talking about stuff or they'll start laughing and I can't laugh with them because I don't know what they're talking about, because it was from a comment that somebody posted and it didn't get read out loud. So anyway, but yeah, I like to have WIP and chats playing in the background while I'm diamond painting. It kind of helps pass the time. If I don't have YouTube on, I usually will put on Hulu because I don't have cable, and I will play like reruns of TV shows and stuff. So I just got distracted by this section up here. It looked like there was supposed to be a black line and there's not, but I think I'm okay. Anyway, so today I'm still working on Starry Night. This one is from Diamond Art Club, and I'm almost done. As you can see, I've just got this little block right here left to do. So I am going to kind of set this part aside. I'm actually going to see how much of this I can actually get done while I'm doing this. Maybe just like finish this off color by color and kind of go from there. All right. Oh wait, I just put wax in my pen. I don't want to use an AB drill yet, because it'll just pull the wax right out. Y'all might get to see my struggle with the AB drills. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I love them because they're so pretty, but dear God, fighting with them with the wax. I just use the regular pink wax. I don't use any of the patty wax or tack, blue tack, or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't use any of that. I just use the pink wax that comes in the things, and I just like, yeah. Anyway, so much. I still have a tag that I have to finish, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it, because as you guys know, I like to ramble, and I've actually had a fairly eventful past couple weeks. So anyway, work has been good. There was a little time frame, you know. I work in a clinic, outpatient. Well, it's basically a doctor's office. And work has been a little slow. So, and you know, both with upstairs and in the clinic. So just a quick recap. I work in a plastic surgeon's office. But his office is located within the hospital that he does the surgeries at. So it's a bit weird. So like, and you know, I'm part of the wound care department. So we you know, he doesn't do, like, I talked about this in my first video. He doesn't do like the butts and boobs that, you know, like the cosmetic stuff that people want to have done. Can you guys, yeah, you can see all the way over here too. He doesn't do the butts and boobs and stuff that people want to have done. He does the reconstruction aspect of it. And he also, one of his specialties is management of chronic wounds. So his clinic is staffed by the wound care department, which is us. And so we have outpatient, which is where I work, and that's the clinic. And then we have inpatient, where the nurses that work inpatient, the department gets consulted when we have patients come in that are admitted to the hospital. They get consulted with wound care if they have wounds, and the wound care team goes in and sees the patient and makes their recommendations as to what they think would be the best course of treatment regarding the wound care. And then the floor nurses obtain the orders from the attending physician and carry them out. They also manage wound vac therapy for post-op patients and chronic patients and stuff like that. And then they also will recommend if the patient needs to be consulted with any particular type of surgeon, like our plastic surgeon or a podiatrist or general surgery or what have you. Anyway, the whole point of that is the fact that I was trying to say work had been kind of slow. We go through these humps where we have all these new patients coming in every week. And generally when they're newer, or if they just had surgery, or if they have a wound that we're trying to kind of get under control, we have them come in every week. And then the further that they go in their healing, regardless of what they are, it goes from weekly follow-up, sometimes even multiple times a week, to every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, once a month, things like that. So we were kind of going through this hump in the clinic where everybody was like dropping down to like 1 time a month follow-up. So we were like only getting like, I don't know, 10 patients a day in the clinic. And we have 3 full-time nurses and a per diem nurse. So she basically kind of works when she can. When she can, and when we need her. So, and the nurses upstairs, they weren't really, it was just a slow time overall because they weren't really getting a lot of patients either to be consulted. So they were kind of slow too. So they were basically kind of, you know, trying to send us home for low census, which is a rarity. So, you know, some of us were kind of taking advantage of it. Like, yeah, I'll take an extra day off. This, that, and the other. The only downside of that is that, you know, you got to use your, God bless. The only downside of that is you got to use your PTO to make sure that you have your hours on your paycheck, because we're all hourly employees and you only got so much PTO to work with. And I went through a lot of mine because the beginning of the year, I was sick as a dog and I was basically out for almost an entire week. And then there was another week where my kids were sick. Of course, they couldn't be sick at the same time. They had to, one of them had to be sick at the beginning of the week and the other one was sick at the end of the week. So I only worked 1 day that week. So I kind of went through all of my PTO, and honestly, I was a little short on my paycheck this past pay period. So it's been a little tight money-wise, but I'll get through it. And so so the reason why I was telling you all that is because, so you can understand my frustration, because it's frustrating when what I'm about to tell you, it's frustrating enough when you have a second income because of your significant other, you know, and you have savings. And when something like this happens, what I'm about to tell you, when something like this happens, it's hard enough even with that stuff. But you know, it's like with, and that whole like, you know, PTO thing that had been happening off and on. And so, you know, I've been struggling a little bit with my paychecks, and I'm the only source of income in my household, because anybody else that lives in this house is not old enough to work. They're 7 and 9. So, so anyway, my car that I have, so, you know, two events happened last weekend that really just frustrated me immensely. My car that I had, it's a 2012 had. I don't have it anymore. It's a 2012 Toyota Corolla, 176,000 miles on it. Some body work, like cosmetic damage to it, that needed to be done, because I mean, I've had the car for 8 years, and you know, nobody's a perfect driver. Not gonna lie, I've hit a couple things. The back of the car, the front of the car, the fender had to be replaced. That was my own fault, because I tapped somebody from, you know, rear-ended them. But I mean, it literally was in a parking lot, and I was going like 5 miles an hour, and I just kind of rolled into them. But it was at the perfect angle that it cracked my fender right by the headlight. The bumper of my car, literally, y'all are gonna laugh, was being held on by duct tape, because I didn't want to take it to get it fixed. And that one was not my fault. I had been rear-ended 3 times in 6 weeks a couple years ago. Once was at a red light over by my house. This guy just slammed into me. And I don't even know why he was going that fast, because the light had just turned green and there was a car in front of me that hadn't even started going yet, and he slammed into the back of me. But it was weird because there was like no damage to my car. And then the second time was a few weeks later. I was coming back from my parents' house, and I was at a red light waiting to turn right because there was traffic coming. And this truck comes up behind me and just like kind of taps my butt. So I pull over, and he didn't even realize that he had hit me. It wasn't very hard, but it was enough to make me want to get out and look at my car, you know. He didn't realize he hit me. There was no damage to either vehicle, so we just kind of kept it rolling. Looking back, I'm like, you know, this probably wasn't the best idea, because we just kind of, you know, because there was no damage to my car at the time. So then the third time was a few weeks later, and I was at a stop sign over near my house, and the stop sign, the road that I was turning onto was at a curve, and it was, the stop sign was right behind a Publix, that's a grocery store down here, a Publix parking lot. Like the road was behind the Publix. And so it was one of those things where it was like hit or miss when you saw the traffic coming through the light that was just in front of the Publix, because they were either going to go straight or they were turning into the Publix, and it was always hard to tell, so you kind of have to wait for everything to be clear before you go. So I'm sitting there waiting for it to be clear, and this heifer just freaking rolled right into me. It's not even like I was going and then I stopped. I mean, I'm literally sitting there, and she's like, I guess she assumed that I was gonna start going by the time she rolled up, because when I looked in my rearview mirror, she was like, she rolled into me as she's looking off to the left, looking at oncoming traffic. I'm like, well, honey, you don't need to worry about looking to the left. You need to worry about what's in front of you first. So anyway, then my bumper started falling off about a few months later. There was no damage to my car at that time either. Well, I guess all the damage was like on the inside, because a few months later, my bumper started falling off. So anyway, held that thing on with duct tape for a year. It worked too. My car's red. I even went out and got the red duct tape. You know, if I can figure out how to insert a photo, what am I at? 14 minutes and about 50 seconds. If I can figure out how to insert a video, I think I'll try to insert a picture, not a video, a picture. I'll insert a picture of my car here. right here, if I remember. So my car was red and I even got the red duct tape to hold my car on, or my bumper on. So anyway, so there was that. And then my car had 176,000 miles on it. So it's getting up there in age, and it was starting to need some work done, namely the ignition coils. Whoopsie, sorry, I bumped the camera. Namely the ignition coils. What is this, V? All right. Oh, these are the bead storage containers. I got them at Joann's. I posted a link to them on the Joann's website in my last WIP and chat. And I think the link I posted was like Doris bead storage containers, but I don't think that's I don't think that's the brand I got. I don't know. But anyway, this is the big one. And that's the small one. And these hold a pretty decent size amount. Like these hold like 2 large bags, I think this size does. And these hold quite a bit too. But anyway. My car was getting up there in age. I needed I needed to start getting the ignition coils replaced. One of them went out on me in December. And I got it fixed. And it was cheap. It was like $150. For parts and labor, which was, I talked to a mechanic friend of mine who lives in Georgia, and he said that sounds about right, like not ripping you off kind of thing. And I was like, okay, good. Which I've never had a problem with this mechanic I've took the car to before, so I was happy with it. And the guy did tell me, he said, you have 4, you have 1 for each, I guess cylinder in your car. Like I had a 4-cylinder car. And he said, once one goes, the other ones are going to start going. And I said, well, I hope that they last a little bit longer because I can't really afford to replace another one right around Christmas time. And they did. One of them lasted until about a couple weeks ago, and it went out. But since I knew, like, basically when it goes out, it makes your entire car shake. And it's slow to accelerate. Like I legit thought that my transmission was jacked up the first time it happened because it makes your whole car shake. It's slow to accelerate. And I couldn't get it to go above a certain speed. So, but once once the first one happened, when it went out on me at the beginning of this month, I knew what the problem was. And I'm like, okay. And luckily, I had just gotten paid, and it was on a Friday. And so I was like, okay, I know what the issue is. I will take it in tomorrow morning to get it fixed. And I took it in, and they fixed it, and it only took like an hour. And they said, you really should go ahead and get the other ones replaced too. And I said, well, I really can't afford to get the other ones replaced too because I got to pay my rent. They were like, okay. Literally that night, the 3rd one went out on me. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I could not afford to get it replaced. And so I was like, well, it's just going to have to wait till I get paid again. And so it was doing that for like 2 weeks straight because I get paid every 2 weeks. And this past Friday... no, it didn't happen for 2 weeks straight. I was driving like that for a week because not this past Friday. This happened a week. I've had my new car for a week now. A couple Fridays ago. Anyway, I don't know. It was 2 weeks later. My car started dying on me every time the engine was idling. Like if I hit the brake and I just like was sitting there, it died. And I'm like, oh shit, this ain't good. So I'm talking to my mom because I mean, it's a Toyota. If you invest the money, it'll last you forever. But it's like, how much money am I going to have to invest in this 8-year-old car with almost 200,000 miles on it already? My mom's like, you need to get a new car. And I'm like, dude, I can't afford to get a new car. And she's like, you need to go get one anyway, and I'll help you if you need it. I'm like, all right, fine. I talked to my stepfather, my mom's second ex-husband. He came over to get my kids that Saturday morning to take them to breakfast, and I was telling him what was going on and how I was going to have to go get another car because he was going to have them until noon, and I wanted him to be prepared that he might have to keep them longer if I'm at the car dealer. And he was like, well, listen, I've got a friend, and I got a friend that's in the whatever in that field. Let me get a hold of him and see if he can help you at all. And I said, okay. So, you know, I just realized my little squishy isn't on here. Anyway, so I got in touch with him. He worked with me because he was over in St. Pete, which is an hour away from where I live. And he said, I don't want you to, I don't want you to drive all the way out here to get denied. And I was like, I really appreciate that because I think I have like one trip in this, I have one trip left in my current vehicle. And that's all it's got left in it. I got one trip left. And it's going to be to a car dealership, and I will have to leave with a new car. So if it's not going to be you, it's going to be somebody else. So anyway, he got me approved. He found a relatively cheap car for me. It was used, but new to me. It's a 2017 Ford Focus, and holy cow, is it fancy. It only had 13,000 miles on it. But it's like, oh my God, I've never driven anything so fancy. It's got the push start. It's got the backup camera. It's got like, you can talk to it. It's got a touch screen, and it's got the Apple CarPlay. But like you can talk to it, like I can hit the little voice thing on it, and it says, and I can like change the air conditioner. Like I can change the temperature. And it's got like this separate, like you can do the driver's side and then passenger side separate temperatures, which my son absolutely loves because he runs, like he wants the air conditioner blowing on him. And I'm the kind of person that, you know, it's like once it gets cool in the car, I don't want the AC on me. I don't want it blowing on me because I run cold. So, and then so I said push start, like everything's buttons in it. Like it's all buttons and dials. Like the gear shifter, like you know how you have like a stick, not a stick like a manual, but like the stick where you go from like park into reverse and then into drive, you know? Even for an automatic, you have a stick. No, this one is a dial. It's so weird. It's kind of cool, but it's weird. I'm still getting used to it. I've had it for a week now. I love it. I absolutely love my car. But I'm still getting used to it. Like when I stop and I'm going to get out of the car, I'm still reaching for my keys. And then I'll remember and I'll turn the car off. And then I'm just kind of like, I mean, I just did it today. I just kind of turned the car off, and then I just sat there for a minute with this blank stare on my face because I felt like I was, I felt like I wasn't doing something right. Like like in my head, I'm still thinking there should be keys that I'm pulling out of an ignition for this to like turn off. I don't understand. Like I can't wrap my head around it. It's so crazy. Anyway, so so they used my junk car, like my POS car. They used that as a down payment for me. So I actually didn't have to put any money down on my new car, and which is great. And then I've got 45 days until my first car payment, which is also great. What's not so great about that is that it makes it with my due date for my car being, my first due date is going to be March 31st. So my car payment is due on the 31st and rent is due on the 1st. Hello, that's not good. So I'm going to be doing some finagling to make sure that I have the money to cover both of those. So that's fine though. That's fine. It's just going to take a little planning. And then, so I did that on a Saturday, right? So then Sunday, I wake up and I go in the bathroom and I have Mr. Whiskers, my baby. I go in the bathroom. Mr. Whiskers had pulled down a bunch of toilet paper. The toilet paper sits above his litter box. And he's never messed with it before, but he had pulled like a good portion of the toilet paper down into his litter box. And I was like, what in the world? So I go to pull it out and I realized he had pulled it down and he peed on it. And he was peeing blood. And I was like, oh my God. So, I mean, this cat is so smart and so sweet. Instead of peeing on the floor or peeing on the carpet or my bed or my clothes or anything like that, he knew that I wasn't going to see it in the dark gray litter. So he pulled down the white toilet paper to pee on it to show me that he doesn't feel good because he's eating, he's drinking, his nose is cold and wet, he's not irritable, he's acting completely normal, right? So you would really have no idea that he doesn't feel good, except for the fact that he pulled the litter down to show me that he had blood in his urine. I was like, oh my God, this cat is so smart. But anyway, I was very worried about him. And of course, it's Sunday. And like, what vet is open on Sunday, right? Like, oh God, I was stressing so bad. Called my mother just to bounce some, ideas off of her as to what I could do. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's an emergency vet literally 5 minutes down the road. I've taken my animals there before, but they're so expensive. It's $150 just to get seen. That's not even counting any testing that they have to do. That is just to walk in the door and be seen. And I have to stay with him the entire time. And I've got my kids. I really don't want to keep my kids at the emergency vet for hours on end, because the last time that I had to bring a cat to the vet, they were there for hours. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this to my children. And they're, I didn't know how long I was going to be there for, and I didn't want to leave them home alone for that, for an unknown length of time. Like I've left them home, like, when I had to like run to the store for something real quick or what have you. I mean, they're 7 and 9. I stayed at home by myself when I was 7 while my mom went to the store. So I don't think it's a big deal. But I didn't know how long I was going to be gone for, so I didn't really want to leave them home that long by themselves. And I didn't want to drag them out for that. So as I'm on the phone with my mom, she was Googling vets that are open 7 days a week. And she found one down by her, but she is an hour away from me, a little over an hour away. So then I was like, well, if she's got one down by her, maybe there's one by me somewhere that I just don't know about that's open. So I Googled it, and PetSmart has the Banfield vet office. They're open 7 days a week. So I called them and told them what was going on. And I mean, they are literally like a 2-minute drive from my house. I'm right behind them. And I would walk there, honestly, but I'm not, but my cat's 17 pounds. I'm not lugging him I'm not lugging 17 pounds, because if I walked, it would probably take me about 10 minutes maybe. And that's a lot of weight to carry. So anyway, they said it was going to be for a office visit and a urinalysis. It was going to be $120. So that, and I could drop him off. So that in and of itself was way better for me, because not only could I drop him off, I didn't have to stay there with him. It was already cheaper than, the initial estimate was cheaper than what the emergency vet was going to be. And that included a test, and the emergency vet didn't. That was just, that was just their office visit. So brought him over there. He has a history of crystals in his urine, so he's already on like a Purina urinary formula for his food, and he refuses to eat. the prescription one. Like I tried putting him on that before, and it, he stopped eating for like 4 days, 3-4 days, something like that. I think, and so I was like, man, F that. I'll find something. So I found the Purina 1-1, and he started eating that. So I've had him on that for 2 years. So the vet really wanted to do x-rays on him and blood work because of his history and not just a UA. And she wanted to make sure that he wasn't getting, you know, had crystals in there somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, I can't afford this. And so then the tech was telling me about this wellness program that they had. And I looked at it and I was like, you know, this might actually work for me, because it included like a set of x-rays every year. You got 2 UAs, urinalysis on the cat every year. It included their annual exam and their rabies vaccine, which he was going to need because he had not had a rabies shot in like 2 years. So they had to give him one to treat him because I had no proof of a rabies vaccine. So I was like, you know what, let me just do this, because with the estimate of what they were telling me the cost was going to be, the plan that would cover everything that he needed that day, it was a $50 sign-up fee, and I'm looking to see if I got all the V's. It was a $50 sign-up fee, and it's going to be like $42.95 a month, which sounds a little steep. However, I did the math, and it's like $400-something a year. Okay, when he goes for his annual with everything that they do, not at Banfield, just at vets in general, annual visits add up. I mean, like my annual visits have always, for my cats and stuff, I keep bumping you guys, I'm sorry. My annual visits have usually averaged like between $100 and $150 for an annual visit. And that's, you know, I mean, it's crazy. And and the other thing this plan offered was, it covered the rabies vaccine. It gives you like a 20% discount on medications. And it included the annual vaccines that they need, like the rabies shot and stuff. Hang on a second. What time am I at? 32 minutes? Okay. So I decided to go ahead and do that. Y'all, I swear to God, that I think was probably the best financial decision I have made this year. Okay, so when I got there, my bill that I paid was $161, I think. Okay. Now, that $161, what I paid for was the first month of the wellness plan, which was the $42.95, so about 43 bucks. I had to do the $50 sign-up fee, the membership fee for signing up with them, right? So that was 90 bucks. The rest of that was his 2-week supply of his antibiotic and the medication, the antibiotic that they gave him a shot there. And so I paid for that, and I paid for the antibiotic they sent him home on. Okay. And they did a urinalysis with the different tests that go along with just a regular urinalysis, the specific gravity and something else, I don't remember. They gave him his rabies vaccine. They did his annual exam, including the fecal testing and the ear thing. And they did x-rays on him. And they did blood work on him. They checked a CBC, which is the white blood cell count, where they check for infection and stuff. Did a CBC, and they checked his thyroid and everything, because, I mean, he's a big boy. What's this one right here? He's a big boy. So, Where do you go? Where did you come from? I think you were a V. I don't know. Anyway. So they did all this stuff on him. His annual plus the stuff that he needed to find out what was wrong with him. And my bill. Okay, so the $161 I paid $490. So what? 90. All right, so $50 of it was the medication that they sent him, that they gave him there and they sent him home on. So from the actual visit, the only thing that I paid for was his medication. Okay. My original bill with everything that they did was over $900. And all I had to pay out of that, not counting the $90 that I paid to sign up and for the monthly fee, not counting that, the only thing I paid for out of that $900 was, I'm sorry, it was, Jesus, now I can't remember. It was 106, so it would have been 70 bucks. Yeah, because I think they were about like between 30 and 40 each one. $70 I paid for those medications. And that was all I had to pay because of this wellness plan. Holy cow, what a lifesaver that was. Because you know how vets are. They don't do payment plans. You got to pay for it up front. I would not have been able to afford that. So yeah, $900 vet bill. And all I had to pay for it out of pocket was 70 bucks for the medications. He goes back in 3 weeks for a checkup, and I think they're going to check his urine again just to make sure that he's clear. He had no crystals on the x-ray. He had no crystals. He just had like a raging UTI. I mean, like raging UTI. So they're going to, so he goes back in 3 weeks for, I guess at this point it's 2 weeks, goes back for a checkup and another urinalysis. And if he does not need any medicine after that, they weren't sure if this antibiotic was going to kick it. So if he does not need medication after that, then for that visit, I will have to pay $0 because the office visit and the urinalysis that they will be doing is covered in that wellness plan. So I am quite pleased with that. Yeah, so the staff is really nice too. I like the techs that I spoke with. I didn't get to talk to the vet himself, but anyway. So yeah, that was a lot that happened last weekend. Oh my God, like it was so much, and it was very stressful for me. So I had to sit down and make sure I could, like, you know, frickin' afford it. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go, because I'm adding more bills onto my income, and I only got so much money coming in. So I looked, and it would work out even if I made 0 changes to what I'm doing right now regarding my bills. It will work out. I take home enough money to pay my bills. The downside is that if I make 0 changes to what I am paying right now, I will have $0 to spend on absolutely anything else. Because literally every penny that I make is being paid out to a bill of some sort. Now, I did have some that were very frivolous of things that I did not actually need. So I decided to go ahead and cut back on those. One of them was I get that monthly subscription to Ipsy. It's like 12 bucks a month. And they send you like makeup samples every month. And I decided to, so it's not much, but I mean, it adds up. So I decided to cancel that. So that was $12. And then I had that monthly subscription to Apple Music. I actually have it for both myself and my 9-year-old because he has a phone. But we have separate iCloud accounts because our pictures were being shared with each other. And I really don't want to see 30 pictures of my ex-husband's fat head that he takes while they're FaceTiming and stuff. You know, or, you know, even, you know, I still have pictures from when our account was shared. I still have pictures on my phone that I found the other day of my ex-mother-in-law's ceiling of her living room. I'm like, come on, what is this mess? And that was from when he was over at her house and he was FaceTiming my mom. So he's at one grandmother's house FaceTiming another grandmother, and he was just like randomly, like he had flipped it around to do selfie mode, and he was taking pictures of himself, or so, I don't know what he was doing. I have no idea what he was doing. But there's like 30 pictures of my ex-mother-in-law's like ceiling and wall on my phone from him doing this. I'm like, what in the world? So anyway, I'm keeping his, so we each have the Apple Music thing, but we can't do the family plan because we have separate iCloud accounts. I'm going to let him keep his. I pay for it. I pay for his phone and stuff. I'm going to let him keep his because that way I'm not worried about him trying to, you know, not really realize it and he ends up spending $50 downloading music. Of songs that he hears on the radio that he likes. But I decided to go ahead and get rid of mine because I rarely use it. Like, I rarely use the Apple Music on my phone. And besides that, I have both Spotify and Pandora, like the free versions. I have both of those on my phone. So I don't really need to keep, you know, downloading the Apple Music thing or paying for the Apple Music thing. And I don't use it in my car either because, my new car has 24 presets on the radio. 3 sets of 6. No. It has 18 presets on the radio. 3 sets of 6. And let me tell you, around here, there is not enough radio stations that I want to listen to fill up my preset stations. Like, I barely speak Spanish, and I have 2 Spanish stations preset on my radio because I can't find any more stations to put on there. I went through the whole, like every station that I could find. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't find anything. So 2 of my stations are actually Spanish stations, and I barely speak Spanish. But I do like some of the music. So I was like, well, it'll be there for if I want to listen to it. Anyway, so I got rid of that. So between the Ipsy and the Apple Music, that's $20 right there. So that's saving me some money. And I have a membership to Massage Envy that I started last year. And I'll tell you one thing right now, y'all. When you go to sign up for something, I canceled my gym membership in January with 0 issues, okay? The girl, like, I was surprised too because, like, I used to belong to Gold's Gym way back in the day. They gave me such a hard time with canceling my membership. So I had signed up last year to go to LA Fitness because it was right around the corner. I live in a really good area. There is so much stuff that is like a 5-minute drive from my house. So I had signed up to go to LA Fitness, and I went there a few times, and then I just stopped going. It's just, you know, I've learned, like my mother told me, she was like, you know, you live that close to it and you've been close to it for that many years and you still haven't gone. What makes you think you're going to go now? And I'm like, I don't know. So I learned it, you know, I'm not going to use it. So in January, I went to go cancel my membership, And the girl did not give me a hard time at all about it. She was like, oh, do you just not use it? And I was like, I just looked at her. I was like kind of surprised that she wasn't like arguing with me about it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I said, I don't really use it. And I'm trying to like, you know, kind of budget my money a little better. And I'm not really using it. So no sense in paying for it. And she's like, okay, no problem. And she canceled it. And she was like, okay, you know, you're always welcome back if you want to come back. I was like, oh, all right, thanks. So that. And then my other one is Massage Envy. I signed up for that last year as well. I used it for a few months up through, I think like November was the last time I used it. And then I just kind of got busy. I haven't had time. And I don't really want to do it anymore. It's normally $60 a month. And I got like a $5 discount for being a nurse. And so I pay $55 a month. Well, I don't really want to pay that anymore. That's a lot of money right now. And so in January, after I canceled my gym membership, I went over to Massage Envy to try to cancel that membership. Well, that one, I wasn't really paying attention when I signed the contract for that one. And to get out of the contract, you either have to move 50 miles away from a Massage Envy, which obviously was not happening for me, or you had to have a note signed by a physician that the massages are no longer medically beneficial to you. Really? You guys aren't filing this with my insurance company. I am paying out of pocket for this. This is not covered by insurance. So why do I need to have a physician's note saying that it's no longer medically beneficial to me? I thought that was a bunch of horse shit. I was not very happy. I mean, I wasn't rude and argued with them when they told me that because, you know, that was my stupid fault for not paying attention to that part. But I was pissed. I'm like, what the hell? This is retarded. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that word. This is stupid. So then I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I work for a doctor. I'll just get him to sign the letter. So I kind of forgot about it. And then I was like, really, after the whole car and the cat thing, I was like, you know, I really need to get my butt in gear and get this stuff taken care of. So Friday, when I was at work, I typed up a letter real quick saying, I mean, it sounded so professional too. And, you know, saying that I had started seeking massages because of an acute episode of neck pain. And then, you know, basically saying that I was no longer complaining of the neck pain, which really I still am, but it's because I do stuff like this and I don't have it up on a easel or anything. So I'm kind of hunched over it. I know what my pain is from. But, you know, the letter said I no longer was complaining of neck pain and the massage therapy was no longer medically beneficial for me. And I gave it to my doctor that I work for. And I asked him, I said, hey, you know, because usually when I give him stuff to sign, like orders and stuff like that, he just signs it and gives it back to me. And then I fax it over to the whatever place was requesting it. And I gave it to him. I was like, hey, BTW, this is for me. This is not for anybody, you know, a patient of yours. And then he saw my name on it and he kind of caught his eye. So he started reading it and he was like, wait, what is this? And I told him what was going on. And he was like, wait, you're paying out of pocket. You're not filing this with insurance, right? And I was like, yeah. He said, and they want a letter from a physician to cancel this when you're paying this out of pocket. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, man, fuck that. And he just signs it and gives it to me. He's like, fuck them. So I went this morning or this afternoon, whatever, a couple hours ago. I went and I went back over to Massage Envy, told the girl I would like to cancel my contract. And she looks it up and she goes, okay, well, your contract is actually not up until August. And then I just quietly passed the letter over to her. And she looked at it and read it. And then she got like this really disappointed look on her face. And she was like, okay, well, I will give this to the manager on duty or what have you. And then she said they would contact me by email once my thing was canceled. And I said, okay, thank you. And then I left. So I'll probably wait a couple days because, I mean, today is Sunday. I'm not really expecting them to do anything about it today. So and so if they do wait until Monday or what have you, you know, I'll wait until like Tuesday or Wednesday. And if I don't get an email by then, I will, contact them and find out what the F is going on, because honestly, I don't know how many people actually do that. Like actually get a letter from a physician to cancel their membership. Because if I wasn't, to tell you the truth, if I was not hurting for money so bad, I probably would have just said F it and just kept the membership up until my contract was up. But I would really like to have that $55 a month go towards something else besides the service that I no longer utilize. So, anyway, yeah, that's what, oh yeah. And then my cell phone bill, is quite steep right now, but that's because like if I buy, you know, I got a new phone, like, you know, they have it to where you can like, whatever you purchase there, instead of paying for it out of pocket right then, they'll just like disperse it. And you only got to pay like anywhere from like $3 to $5 a month on it. No interest, I think is the plan I have or something, because I don't pay interest on my stuff. But I have T-Mobile, and if I buy something from their store, like a tablet or a phone or, you know, a charging stand or anything like that, or even like the screen protectors or anything like that, they will just add it onto my current bill, which is great because I don't pay anything, you know, I don't pay for anything right then, and it just gets dispersed out among my bill. Well, that has kind of added up, and my bill is a pretty decent amount. So, but you can go on the website and make an extra payment on certain things, right? So I looked last night. I'm waiting for my tax return to come back because I want to try to put a couple things away or get a couple things taken care of with my tax return. So I'm just waiting on that to come back. So I went ahead and looked to see what I had and this, that, and the other. And there is actually, I'd say probably, I think everything that is currently on there, it's only like literally $3 to $5 to pay these things off. But I'm only paying a couple bucks a month on them. So like I have this one item on there that I owe $5.75, but I'm only paying $2.70 a month on it. So it takes like so I still have 2 more months of payments for this thing. I'm like, you know what? I'll go ahead and pay these things off and just get them done and over with, and that will drop my cell phone bill down. So I think what I'm going to do is pay off everything that's currently listed on there, except for the phone that I have right now and my youngest son's tablet. Those are still decent amounts that I don't really want to, because I would rather save. I'd rather keep paying because it's only a certain amount of money every month that, you know, if I pay both of those things off, it's going to be a chunk of my tax return, and I would rather have that in savings for an emergency rather than just pay off a cell phone. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's been my past couple weeks. Like, a lot of, like, financial crap going on, and it's quite irritating. And, yeah. Not that y'all really needed to know about all of that, but it's just, it's good to just kind of talk about it and let it out. Because it is quite stressful, and, but I'll get it figured out, and, yeah, I'll get it figured out. And, you know, anyway, once I get these bills, some of these bills, like I'll get my cell phone bill knocked down. I think I can take off, 20 to 30 bucks off of my bill, off of my cell phone bill, if I can pay these, like just about all this stuff off. I'm going to look and see, and I'll have to keep you guys updated. My bill is currently, I think it's $225 a month with everything, because I've got my phone, my oldest son has my old phone, which I'm still paying on. He's got like, I think I had the iPhone 8. I now have the iPhone XR. And he's got my old phone. So I'm paying on those two. My youngest son has a tablet, and I'm paying that. And then I've got like this Samsung fast charge thing that will, you know, you don't have to plug your phone in. You just throw it on this thing and it'll charge your phone. So it's that. And then I've got like some, you know, screen protectors and, you know, whatnot. So my bill is currently like $225, and I think I'm going to try to get everything except for my current phone and my kid's tablet, pay everything else off. So I'll just be having those added on to my cell phone plan that I'm still paying on. And I think I really want to say that I can cut back, I think I can cut that down to where I can cut my cell phone bill down to less than 200 bucks. So if I do that, and then even if I cut down $25 of it, right? And then the $55 from Massage Envy, that's like 70, almost 80 bucks, right? And then the $10 from the Apple Music that I'm canceling, and the $12 from the Ipsy subscription that I'm canceling. That's another 20 bucks. So that's $100 right there. So that'll be good. And I'm switching grocery stores. I'm going from Publix, which I absolutely adore, but even shopping BOGOs, it can be expensive. I'm going to shop at Aldi for a little while. They're also around the corner, just around a different corner than Publix. I'm going to shop at Aldi for a little while. They're cheap. I've shopped there before. I do like Aldi. And their stuff is way cheaper. And I can spend the same amount at Aldi that I do at Publix, and I get way more food. So I'm going to do that for a little while too, because then I can cut down on my grocery bill as well. That's always a good thing. So yeah. It's so like I said, I'll be okay with that. It's nice to get things off of my chest. I honestly kind of do feel a little better about, you know, after talking about this out loud, and it kind of cements it in my head, because I didn't really think it. I was thinking all this in my head, and I'm like, is this really going to work? But after talking about it and saying it out loud, I do think it's going to work. So thanks, guys. I think it's also good for, I mean, you know, people don't like to hear, not everyone likes to hear people bitching about their problems, but honestly, I think it's good. I don't mind listening to others' issues, because I think it's a good thing in a way, because somebody out there is going through the same thing I'm going through right now. And it's nice to know that you're not alone. You know what I mean? It's nice to know that you're not the only one struggling, trying to figure out how you're going to, you know, put groceries on the table next week, or pay your rent next month, you know, or anything like that. So I think it's, you know, because sometimes, like, you know, you do feel like you're the only one that is in this situation right now. And you're like, how the hell am I going to get through this? I don't know what to do. So I do actually, I don't mind at all when somebody needs to let their feelings out, or talk about something that they're struggling with in life, because letting it out is a good thing talking about it out loud, even if you're not getting a response back, is always a good thing. Just like letting it off your chest, getting it off your chest. And also, you know, I would love to hear of a situation that somebody is going through that literally not one other person in the world is going through right now. Like, I don't think there's any situation in the world that somebody else has not gone through in their lifetime at some point. So I think it's always, I think it's a good thing to talk about what's going on in your life, because you never know who's listening and they might be struggling with the same situation. And like I said, it's good to know that you're not the only one that's having a hard time. So anyway, yeah, so what am I at? I'm at an hour. All right. I'm probably going to finish this color and then I'm going to wrap it up. Actually, wait, what is it? A little over an hour. I think I'm going to wrap it up. But I do want to keep working on this. So what I'll probably do is stop this and then maybe film another whip and chat talking about something completely different, because I got to try to film as much as I can while the kids aren't here. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so anyway, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's okay too. If you have any questions or any comments, go ahead and put them down below. And if you would like to see more, then go ahead and if you want to see more, then hit that subscribe button and make sure you have that bell turned on so that you get notified whenever I decide to put up a video. And just FYI, if you hit that bell, it turns on the notifications for every channel that you're subscribed to. Because I get notifications all the time. My kids are subscribed to a few of the gaming channels on YouTube under this account. It's funny because I changed it to reflect the name of my channel and they don't even know it. They don't comment on the videos or anything, but they don't even realize that, you know, they're watching like, I think like Flamingo, I think is one of the ones that, yeah, Flamingo is one of the ones that they watch. And they don't even realize that, you know, some crafting channel is subscribed to it. Anyway, so yeah, hit subscribe and make sure that bell is turned on to be notified whenever a video is posted. And hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down and leave me a comment if you feel the urge to. I think I'm actually done with this color. I don't know. I'll find out in a little while once I start filling in more. Anyway, y'all have an excellent, excellent day. And I hope to see you in my next video. All right? Take care, everybody. Bye.